The inflation rate is at something like a 40-year high, and that's going to have some real impacts to both society and our investment portfolios. And the Wall Street Journal just put out a great report on the areas that were impacted most by inflation. That's exactly what we're going to be covering in this video. So smash that like button and subscribe if you're new. You're watching More Money. Let's get it. In December, the 7% rise in the year-over-year inflation figure was the fastest pace in nearly 40 years. And of course, you already know that these increases in prices are being driven by imbalances in supply and demand in the fallout of the pandemic and related policy responses, which include the huge run-up in energy prices. What I found interesting, however, was that not all products ran up uniformly, and in certain situations, the variances are huge. So let's start with autos. Overall, new car production was stalled due to a shortage of semiconductor chips due to the pandemic-related manufacturing shutdowns. As this was happening, demand completely took off, first with the car rental companies buying up used cars to build up their fleets, which was one of the major reasons why used car prices were soaring in June of 2021 as they went up 45.2%, the most since records began getting kept in 1953. Although used auto prices have cooled only slightly, rising at still a high rate of 37.3% in December, new vehicle prices continue their upward march as they climbed 11.8% in December, which was the highest pace since 1975. Now, in discussing used cars, I do understand that Cathie Wood, who so far incorrectly pushed the deflationary thesis, has stated that she's seeing demand come into balance with supply in the used car market. And other YouTubers that are long on these negative income stocks are blindly parroting her talking points. And personally, I'm at a loss for the lack of critical thinking amongst finance YouTubers who blindly hang on to every word that Cathie Wood says like she's speaking gospel. But these deflation pushers really have no legs to stand on unless those inflation rates tick into the negatives, which they're showing no signs of doing so. Of course, you can have more people right now selling their second unused cars if they expect to not use them in the new economy, but as things fully reopen, I suspect that the demand for new and used vehicles will only go up as people will likely need vehicles to resume daily life. This, of course, will only bring new buyers into a market where Cathie Woods is saying that the demand and supply is currently in balance to once again imbalance it yet again. Can Cathie Woods be correct that we should expect to see used car prices come back down? Of course she can. She's a lot smarter than I am, so she's probably seeing things that I don't understand. But taking a step back and reviewing the logic and the data, I see huge challenges going in here into 2022. At the very least, I don't see new car prices declining, especially in the face of higher commodity costs, higher shipping costs, and higher wages. This would just push more people into the used car market, thus potentially juicing that market as well. Now, moving on to gasoline. It comes of no surprise to any of us that early in the pandemic, the prices actually declined, which made a ton of sense as none of us were on the road, well, at least not until the second half of the year, which is when the price of gasoline started to recover. The recovery extended well into 2021, which largely followed the increase in the price of crude. As you can see here, although the ride was bumpy throughout 2021, crude prices increased from the $50 per barrel area to near $84 a barrel as of the recording of this video. And that $84 a barrel reflects the fact that US crude stockpiles have declined by 4.6 million barrels last week to their lowest level since October 2018. Meanwhile, China, the #2 oil consumer, has suspended some international flights and stepped up efforts to rein in a virus outbreak in Tianjin, while the highly transmissible Omicron variant has spread to the northeastern city of Dalian. I expect to see an unpredictable road for crude in 2022, but the US EIA expects US crude production to increase, which is expected to lead to a small increase in crude stockpiles. This, of course, means that crude prices are expected to somewhat level out for the remainder of 2022 and 2023, which is, of course, good news for those of us who are expected to begin commuting to work once again. And of course, since the price of energy has gone up so much, this should serve to take the pressure off the overall inflation rate. The last item that I wanted to discuss in part one of this two-part video was the home and recreation segment. As you can see here, both living room and outdoor equipment surged, especially in 2021, pushed upwards by a combination of supply constraints and consumer demand. As more and more people were forced to remain at home and continue to work from home, they spent more on renovating and furnishing their homes, which of course makes a lot of sense. I actually think that there will be lasting structural demand for home renovation and repairs even when we all go back to work, because as I went through in detail in this channel, Home prices are sky high as they're supported by a multi-year supply-demand imbalance, which implies that there will be a lasting strength in prices. And strong pricing in the home market in itself can be a remaining catalyst for continued home spending, as existing homeowners are likely to feel that the investments that they are making are worth it, while sellers could look to renovate and flip homes with a higher sticker price in a strong real estate market. One large damper on the real estate party, of course, will be affordability, as mortgage rates are already moving upwards, reflecting a very real possibility that the Federal Reserve is expected to increase interest rates in 2022. The continued demand in homes is a theme that I'm going to be continuing to follow up on in 2022, and I provided a detailed discussion about the types of home builders that I'm going to be looking to purchase in this video right here. You don't want to miss out on this video.